Hello guys, my name is Guts from Pangolin Photo Safaris, and we are here in a very chilly Svalbard looking for some polar bears with one of our groups. Canon very kindly borrowed me this beautiful 1200mm lens, and I can't wait to see what we can get with this in this environment. Please wait until the end and see the type of shots we got.
In this video, I want to put the lens through its paces while being out here in the field. I simply share my first thoughts and impressions with all of you. I'm out here in the high Arctic while getting accustomed to this new RF lens of Canon. At 1200mm it ranges from its widest aperture of f8 all the way to f64. And one of the first things coming to mind while standing out here in the elements is that I'm truly happy to know that this lens is weather sealed.
With 1200mm, I basically had double the focal length of most of my guests on this trip. We were lucky, some bears came quite close, but a lot of them were very far, and I really enjoyed having that reach. Some of them were so far that I tried the 1.6 crop on the R5. That gave me just shy of 2000mm. Wow, the first thing I spot is a very narrow field of view. It's 1200mm, and you really have to search for the animal. But once you get it, it's pretty impressive. Very interesting. Even in the Arctic, where we have extremely cold climate, there's still a bit of haze that you only pick up when you have a big lens like this. And you must be very careful for that. In theory, it would be better if the subject could be a bit closer. If you like our content and you want to join a growing community of wildlife photographers, and you don't want to miss any of our new videos, please don't forget to subscribe right here. Also very interesting, with this big focal length, 1200mm, every little shake, every little movement, even the vibration of the ship gets amplified and I can pick it up. Even my heartbeat I can see in my screen. So you have to be extremely precise on your subject, and for sure bring up your speed. With this big lens, I found any speed under 2500ths of a second, you could see a bit of shake.
I'm glad Canon has really improved its image stabilization in all the new RF lenses, as it would be impossible to shoot otherwise. However, this long focal range does not pair with in-body stabilization.
So this is a f8 lens, which is pretty impressive for a 1200mm focal length. But because I always need to shoot on quite a high shutter speed to prevent that vibration and shake, it's pretty challenging in low light. When there's too much light or a lot of sunlight, then that heat haze kicks in. So you have a very small window where the light is just perfect to get that good shots with this lens, especially over a very far distance.
Which is why I would always recommend a full frame sensor with this lens, as those can simply be pushed harder for higher ISOs.
Some of our bear friends came very close. Way too close for 1200mm. But this kind of forced me to get some detailed shots. Just faces, just sections, just paws. So definitely there was a shot in there as well.
At a minimum focus distance of only 4.3 meters, this was always possible. Now I just want to take a quick moment to have a look at the quality of photographs this lens produces. This lens is as pin sharp as one would expect a pro fixed lens of Canon to be, when there's no atmospheric disturbance. In a close-up shot you can see the incredible amount of detail I was able to capture. But to give you a better idea, I will quickly pull up a comparison of Canon's RF 400mm f2.8, which is 1/3 of the focal length. The 400 2.8 remains superior with more clarity in the shots when it's not over magnified. Given the closer proximity, one can simply pull more detail from the image taken with a 1200mm. However, it doesn't seem to produce the same crispness as the 400 lens. In this shot especially, which was roughly 100 meters away from us, you can see that the amount of detail captured at a distance reduces and the image seems a bit softer.
Guys, I just want to make clear, this is a first impression video. It was wonderful to be able to shoot this 1200mm lens in this amazing environment. And you never know. There's a lot of talk about regulations that might change, and if that's the case and you have to stay very far away from most wildlife here on Svalbard, this might just be the lens to use to get that bear on the horizon. I had a lot of fun shooting this lens. Thank you, Canon. But I'm very glad I brought my 100 to 500 as well, because this lens is extremely niche. It's a very specialized lens. Yes, I got some great shots, up close and personal, shots I would never be able to get. I got some bears on the horizon that no one else got. But I think you have to think very carefully when you need this lens. It's very interesting to travel with it. Number one, it's so big, it doesn't fit in most camera bags. But for its size, it's pretty light. Just to sum it up, you really need to decide and think very carefully when and where you're going to need a 1200mm lens. I'm going to show you some shots that I've taken on this trip. Please have a look at it and decide, and maybe tell us in the comments, what do you think of a 1200mm lens?